You suffer from pain in your lower back, starting right in the morning when you put on your socks and you have a hard time reaching your feet, and then things get worse from there and you're thinking, is it a slipped disc? And you're afraid of surgery. I'm Roland Liebscher Bracht, and I'm going to explain to you what causes your back pain, most forms of it anyways, and what you can do about it. You'll be stunned how easily that could happen. Look here. Most of the day, we sit like this. Not only at a table or a desk, but also on the bus, on the train, at the movies. And when we're riding our bike, it's like sitting. And when we pedal to work, we also sit. What happens in this pelvic position, this sitting position? We have one muscle that is rather important in this, and that's the hip flexor. It's attached here, runs across your groin to your lumbar spine, one part of it, the other part towards then along the ilium. And when we stand, this muscle is long. And when we sit, it's shorter, as you can see here. And the problem is, if this is not balanced out, the entire muscle tends to shorten over time, and the fascia embedded in there start to mat up, making this contraction even worse. Now, everything in the front has become shorter. What happens to our body? It's being pulled forward. And to act against this, it pulls backwards. And to achieve that, it uses the back muscles, the extensors, and your lower back. And now a battle ensues between the back and the front. In the front, your muscles pull you increasingly forward, and in the back, they try to pull you backwards. And what does that impact the most? Your vertebra. And your body alerts you to that fact. The brain does a quick calculation of all the forces in play and warns you by sending alarm pain. Everything in the back stiffens up solid. Every massage therapist will tell you that you're tensed up and hard here in your lower back. And at some point, with advancing age, you'll have to use a walker, shuffling along in this bent-over position, because for decades, they've inadvertently trained their body into this position. And we're going to show you what you could do to avoid that posture. And the most important thing you have to do, and what Sina is going to show you, is this. Sina, please stand here and face the wall at an angle. Now touch your buttocks with your hands. Not up here, down here. Why down here? Now watch this. You can bend in all directions. Bend backwards with your upper body. Bend backwards with an arched lower back. You could tilt with your hips backwards. And that's the point here. I want you to really feel it. And that's why you should hold your buttocks, the way Sina's doing here. And you're at the point that has to shift forward, and your hands are in control. Sina, give it a try. Simply push your groins forward using your hands, and you'll feel how it's rather the groin that's moving forward than your lower back bending backwards. Please try this at home. And the important thing is, it's kind of a trick. Tuck your belly button in. Push your groin forward and tuck in your belly button. You could feel a much stronger stretch in your groin, can't you? That's the crucial element, because you want to stretch your hip flexor to make it longer. And if you only bend backwards with your upper back, there's not enough stretch on the hip flexor. The more you push your groin forward, exactly at the level here where Sina's pushing her groin, the more you tuck your belly button in, the more you're in the stretch you're looking for. And now we're going to do the exercise at a wall, because you might be a little wobbly standing like this. Sina, please step in front of the wall. Let's take the one that's right here. And now put both your hands on the wall, slightly wider apart than shoulder width and a bit above your shoulders. That's a good starting position. Same thing. Focus on your pelvis, on your groin. Tuck your belly button in, and now gradually shift your pelvis forward, using your hands for control, making sure your lower back is not arched too much, but that you're pushing forward down here. Maybe your feet should be a bit more apart at shoulder width. That makes everything easier. Now you could feel the same stretch, but you're standing securely. The wall gives you stability. Where does the stretch run now? In your groin. maybe even your hip joints, your stomach, and your lower back. Don't be startled by that stretch in your back because you might think, this triggers exactly the pain in my back that I want to get rid of. Quite the opposite is true. This exercise is the right one for you if it triggers a stretching pain here. Just think of it as your muscles letting you know that you're stretching them. But you stretch them at a level of intensity that you're able to just take. And when you leave this exercise, everything that has been too short before is a bit longer again, and you'll have less pain there, even though you triggered a bit of it. Now let's move to the floor. Sina, please come on over here and get down on all fours. Great, this is our starting position. Now, first, this is mostly about being aware of the position of your back and pelvis. Make a cat's arched back and move your lower back upwards. And now the opposite, let your stomach hang. And up again. And if you're in this position, stay like this and move your hands about 10 centimeters forward. Back stays put. And now focus on moving only your groin forward and down. Very slowly. Always control your groin. Don't go here, but here. That means not your stomach, but your groin. The groin is moving downwards. You tuck your belly button in, tuck it in a bit, and you could feel a different stretch compared to letting your stomach hang down, right? Well, now at the end of this exercise, it's not bad if your lower back is arched. That's quite all right. But it's important in the initial phase where you deal only with the hip flexor. And then your hip flexor is being stretched, and you add your abdominal muscles, and that gives us a complete stretch. Now, let's move on to the back. We just said that everything in the front has been stretched open, but in the back, there's still a lot of tension. I call it reactive tension. We have to relieve this tension as well. Please take your feet, move them out to the front. Simply sit. Move your knees around an angle of 90 degrees, give or take. The soles of your feet are touching each other. And now, some of you will already experience problems here and feel that they can't move their backs forward that much, maybe only a little bit. Now, you could pull on your legs to move forward. If this is all you can manage, no problem. Move as far forward as you can until you could feel a stretch in your lower back. And when you feel you could move your feet forward a bit more, slide forward with your feet or wiggle backwards on your butt a bit. Great. It's important that you could feel a stretch here in your back, and you'll be surprised how getting open in the front and open in the back gives you a whole new back. It's very, very simple. And that's why you should tell everybody you can get rid of back pain so easily using these two basic exercises. We can do a lot more than these, but these two basic exercises alone can relieve you of so much pain. People are simply stunned. I hope you feel the same. If for any number of reasons you can't do this exercise on the floor because it's too hard, you can do the same exercise on a chair. Sina, please have a seat. And we want to sit down more in the middle of the seat, leaving some space in the back, but not too close to the edge so you don't slide off. Feet in the front, same position as on the floor. And now you simply drop down your upper body. Like I said before, the height at which you personally do this exercise is not important. Important thing is that you have a stretch in your lower back at a pain intensity you can take. Just barely, and that's still pleasant. Don't move too fast, no jerky motions, and everything will be fine, and afterwards you'll feel how light and liberated your back is. Now a special tip. We have an exercise routine that offers many more exercises you could do. Clicking here takes you directly to that routine, and Sina and I say goodbye.